Do not get distracted. So our dark moon is happening tomorrow. Oh, and by the way, happy anniversary to Nectar. 8 years. We opened 12/12/12. Can you believe that? So this is a super beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I take no credit from doing anything but then to having the vision and opening it and then giving it off to my family. So yeah, the dark moon is tomorrow. And dark moon energy, I have been dating the moon for the last couple of years and really getting to know how moon energy is so important to connect with, because it really allows us to move through our phases with such ease and grace. And I wanted to read you something that Josh wrote during our 21 days. This was yesterday. I think he posted this. So he said, today, which was yesterday, we bring awareness to our divine darkness. Whether we want to admit it or not, we are perfectly, beautifully, and powerfully dark. As we continue to raise and balance our vibrational energy, we begin to accept ourselves as equal parts of light and dark. This opens up a new landscape of untapped energies we've been hiding or hiding away from. And when we're able to face our fear of the dark and clear our darkness of the boogeyman, the boogie woman, the emotions, we recognize a void where possibilities and opportunities are infinite. I'm going to read that line again. When we clear our darkness of the boogeyman, the boogie woman, our emotions, we recognize a void where possibilities and opportunities are infinite, right? Instead of running away from something that scares us, if we come into it and open it up, instead of it being fear, it's complete potential. We learn to find peace within the phases of the moon cycle, the dark moon, the half moon, the full moon, and everything in between, and freely access the dark and light aspects of our existence. And then in the Radiant Sutras, which I read from almost every day, it says, consider all the pains and all the pleasure you have ever experienced as waves on a very deep ocean, which you are. From the depths, witness those waves, rolling along so bravely, always changing, beautiful in their self-sustaining power, and marvel that once you identified only on the surface of the ocean, and now embrace waves and depth, undersea mountains, out to the farthest shores. Embrace your darkness. You know, you think about it when you go deep down into the ocean, right, into that darkness, there's so much beauty there, right? But there's also fear. Oh, what's touching my feet? What's down there? But to dive deep below those waves, you know, there was this beautiful teaching of Pema Chodron, and she taught on how that there was a friend of hers who was consistently having, and I've told this many times, so some of you heard this, always having these nightmares. And she said to her friend, well, have you ever turned to look at the monsters that are chasing you? She goes, absolutely not. They're scary. I'm running away from them. What, are you kidding me? And she said, well, do your best during the dream, which we can, during the dream, turn around and take a look at the monsters that are chasing you. And when she found the ability to do that, they weren't as ugly as she thought they were. And they weren't as scary as she thought they were. So this is the moment that we can look into that darkness, into that dark moon, and see potential, see the void, see the open space. So go ahead and bring your hands to your heart center. Celebrate the moon energies, your fullness, your emptiness, your halfness. Maybe half, we can think of equal parts of dark and light. All of you is absolutely necessary in this lifetime, and especially now. The world has asked us to step into our everythingness. Not only our everythingness, but to be able to see the world and the universe and its dimensions, to open up to the voids and the places that we never knew existed. And don't be afraid, because they are us, not separate. Deep breath in. Oh. Release your hands, open your eyes. Come onto your hands and knees, please. Press back into child's pose. I quoted you. You missed me quoting you. Come into child's pose, the pose of the child. And maybe, maybe use your dog as a bolster. Oh my gosh. I was telling everybody the other day that I had this like wonderful insight during one of my meditations to do dog yoga with you guys, right? And I got really excited. I'm like, Erica, we have her on Spotlight so that she can see what it is that you guys can see what I'm doing if I don't make sense. So I thought how fun that would be to do a class. And I thought so many of you would come with your dogs, but here's the problem. Almost every time I see you with your dogs, you have what I have, which is big dogs. Yes. And all the stuff I looked at on YouTube was like holding these little tiny dogs and doing the poses with them. So I don't know how it will work with our big dogs other than what Katrin's doing, which is laying on her dog as a bolster. So I have to make up my own big dog yoga. Walk your upper body to the right side. If you go back into gallery, though, you can see all of us. Stretch that whole left side of your body. So long, slow, and deep means that I'm going to keep you on the ground. I'm going to keep you in that space that may be dark. Maybe throughout the whole class, keep your eyes closed. Walk yourself to the other side. Breathe deeply to all the phases, all the places that you perceive as dark. For dark is just as beautiful as light. Dark allows us to percolate. Think of all the things that happen under the water, all the things that happen in the murky lakes, all the beauty that happens underground. Come back to center, come onto your hands and knees. We're going to cat-cow. Josh, if you can't do that, you can come onto your forearms and cat-cow. So allow yourself to cat and cow here. Move your spine. And maybe keep your eyes closed. Such a celebration in our practice to be told that our darkness is fertile ground for growth. The dark moon is that moment through ritual, if you'd like, you can project what you wish to bring into the new moon. And specifically this month, there's so much energetic beauty happening. So be a part of that, feel it, experience it through all your senses, through all the elements. Good. And then go ahead and sit back cross-legged and lie on your back. Hug your knees into your chest. Roll from side to side. And then just cross out your shins. Cross one shin over the other and reach for your ankles. And draw in. Let your navel drop. Let your mind drop. But let your breath get just a little bit deeper. Let the other shin come on top. Settle into the floor beneath you. Make sure you are warm too. If for some reason my house was very chilly this morning, if for some reason your house is chilly, throw a sweater on because you're really not going to work up a sweat. And then happy baby pose. Reach for your insteps, draw your knees wide, draw your shins in, keep your low back pressing to the floor, lift your chest. Notice if you can keep your breath long, slow, and deep throughout the whole practice, maybe even ujjayi breath, warming the back of your throat. And then stretch your right leg to the sky, stretch your left leg down to the floor. Grab your strap if you have one and strap your right foot. If you don't have a strap, you can hold on behind the thigh. But if you have a strap, let your shoulders relax here, lift through your chest, and then press your left thigh into the floor. So deeply root your left thigh. And remember, you're pressing your right thigh away from you as you're pulling your shin toward you. You're reaching up through your heel. You're seeing what it feels like to draw from your heel into your hip socket and then push out through your foot. And even here, feel the sensation of widening through the sit bones. Cultivate the breath, a long, deep breath. And again, make sure your shoulders, if you have a strap, your shoulders should not be lifting up. Drop them to the floor. Keep your strap in your right hand and take your right leg out to the right. Keep your left thigh rooted down. Think of your right leg coming more up towards your armpit, so it's not like you're taking the foot to the floor. Great, Crystal. Yay. Anchor, breathe, and feel. You notice with your exhales that maybe you can let go just a little bit more. But notice where there's a stretch, and notice where you can shift a little bit by drawing the leg up or out. Play around with where you feel the most balanced stretch. Beautiful. Now take that leg up. You're going to shift your hips slightly to the right and let the right leg fall to the left. You could switch hands too, so your right arm can come out. And then see if you can really open your chest a lot. Press the top of your thigh away from you. Pull your shin toward you. Nice, Heidi. Now feel as if there's a giant block between your legs and squeeze that block. Now press your sacrum back into space just a little bit. And then reopen the chest. Remember, if you exhale just a little longer, it'll feel like you were on vacation when class is done. Good. Now just drop the strap and bend the knee and place your left hand on your right knee, left hand on your right knee, and then bend your left knee and reach your right hand down to hold that ankle if you can. If you can't, leave it where it is. Again, press your sacrum back. So we're in a spinal twist with our right knee going to the left. Just make up anything you want. Yeah. Dark moon energy. It's when the witches come out. It's when the wild ones, when there's open space, when there's no right or no wrong, no good or no bad. There's a void of openness, opportunity. Come back onto your back. Hug both knees into your chest. Make sure you're center of your mat again. Press your knees into your hands and your hands into your knees. Happy baby pose. Press your low back into the floor, lift your chest, soften your ribs. And then let your right leg float to the floor, strap your left foot up to the sky. And again, if you don't have a strap, again, I just think it really does make sense to have something, especially when you're twisting. This isn't so difficult to do without a strap, but once you start twisting, it's a little more difficult. So Lori, just for fun, Lori Glass, just for fun, take your hands behind your thigh instead for a moment, and then press your thigh back into your hands. So your thigh moves towards your hands, good. And then you can go back up to your foot. So that action stays really clear. And maybe that action was already happening. So I'm always a big friend of trying to take my low belly away from my thigh, which gives a little more cosmic space. I know that sounds crazy, but I feel like anytime that I allow my body to open up into places that have been really held tight, I feel like I go to another galaxy. Good. Now take your leg out to the left. You got to root down that right thigh. And again, here's where you play a little bit. Is it more of a stretch, of a very balanced stretch, if I bring the leg up a little bit more, maybe even lift it a little higher instead of placing it closer to the floor? And can you pull in toward your hip socket and then press out toward your heel? And then can you open your chest? And again, truly breathing just a little bit deeper, exhaling just a little bit more. And if anybody needs a blanket underneath their head to lift their head a little higher than their heart, you can do that if there's a need for that. I know some of us have been having congestion, so that might be a reason to keep your head lifted. And then go ahead and bring that leg back up. And you're going to want to shift your hips just a little bit more to the left, and then take that twist, straight-legged twist. So it's your left leg coming to your right. And this time, your right leg does fall out. You have a straight right leg, but it falls out. That's it, Lisa. Nice. Now, press your sacrum back. You want to feel the sense of really rooting into your low back. So press it back toward the left. And then open your chest more. Saying the other day that the sun gets all the applause, right? Because we love the sunny days. We love the sun. We sunbathe. We love the sun. Go ahead and bend that knee. And let your hand rest on the knee, and then you can reach your left hand down to hold the right ankle if you want to take that thigh stretch, or stay right where you are. Yet it is the moon energy that really does mimic who we are in all of our phases. Our dark, our light, our middle. Every little crescent, our waxing and our waning. And to know the moon really allows us to know ourselves in all our dimensions. So allowing yourself to even moon bathe, right? So you might think, put your water out in the full moonlight, or your malas out in the full moonlight to get that energy and that radiance. Sure, absolutely. But how about put your malas or go ahead and bathe in the dark moonlight? It's funny how we have what's good and bad. The brighter it is, the better it is. The shinier it is, the more important it is. Good. Come all the way back and hug your knees into your chest. Good. Drop your left foot back down onto the floor. Now we're going to take our right shin and parallel it across our chest. So we're going to hand our right foot to our left hand. Our right foot goes into our left hand, and you draw the right shin up. Try to keep that foot flexed. Good. Push that knee wide. Push that right sit bone wide. And then draw your left knee up and place your ankle on top of your knee. Keep your left shin parallel to the floor as well. And then take your arms out to a letter T. Draw the navel down, lift the chest up, and keep pressing your right knee away and your left knee toward you. Right knee away from you, left knee toward you. Right, we start out big and then we forget to breathe. So keep the breathing going. Good. Now slide your right knee on top of your left knee and bring your knees in a little closer. Don't use your hands. And then squeeze your shins away from you. And then squeeze your shins toward each other, not away from you. Squeeze your shins away from each other. And then squeeze your shins toward each other. Don't use your hands though. Pull apart and keep the knees moving as close to the belly button as you can. Good. Now squeeze in and hold it there. Breathe. As you're squeezing the shins, widen the inner thighs, navel to the floor. Good. Take those legs up to the sky. Make little circles here. Little circles with straight legs if you can, or bent knees. Beautiful. Drop your feet back down to the floor. And then bring your left knee into your chest. Cross your left shin across your chest as if you're putting your left foot into your right elbow crease or holding it with your hand. Draw it forward. Push the knee away. Just draw the left shin in. Yeah. Keep flexing the foot. Keep widening the inner thigh. This is a lot of time that you can really investigate. Where can I feel the most opening? And then draw the right knee in and place the left ankle on top of the right knee. Try not to use your hands here. Try to let your body do this work. Be careful to not clench your jaw, like wherever that place is, it's a little weak is going to go. You're going to go right there. Notice the places that you can't breathe. And then go ahead and slide that left knee on top of that right knee. Squeeze the shins together. Pull the knees in. And then pull the shins apart. Squeeze them in. Pull them apart, squeeze them in. Keep hollowing out the belly. And then squeeze the shins in and hold. Keep breathing. Take the legs up to the sky, circle in the other direction. Good, now take your arms up to letter T if they're not there. Out to letter T on the floor. Palms face down. And then just take your legs slightly to the left, push your right ribs down to the floor. Take your legs slightly to the right, press your left ribs down to the floor. Take your legs to the left, right ribs down. And to the other side. Come back to center, lower your feet down to the floor. And breathe. Your knees are not bent, bend your knees. And if you have a block, place a block underneath your sacrum. If you don't have a block, you can come up into bridge without the block. So you're lying on your back, you're lifting up your seat. You can place the block underneath your sacrum. And if you don't have a block, what I'm going to suggest you do is come up and then release, go down, come back up, release, go back down. And sometimes books are nice as well. There you go. Excellent. Nice job, Kim. By the way, we've had some amazing angels contact us that want to Secret Santa another student who hasn't been able to come to classes, financial reasons. So we here at Natural Yoga are Secret Santaing 3 per month. This month, I think we've already got our 3, but we'll do it January, February, March. So if you know somebody in need of Secret Santaing, let us know. And the other is if you want to be a Secret Santa, let us know that as well. And keep breathing here. Maybe keeping your eyes closed. Then maybe on the block, or if you don't have a block, take your legs to the sky. Sometimes when you have the block, you just have to resituate the block a little bit to lift your legs up so that it's not poking your sacrum. Sue, is your back not happy on the floor? Yikes. Ay, ay, ay. You can also do a forward bend here, Sue, if you want to. We're going to come up to that place too. And then draw your knees into your chest. Replace your feet down to the floor if you had them lifted. Remove the block. And hug your knees into your chest. Roll up to squat. Drop your head if you'd like. Close your eyes if you'd like. Breathe very deeply. Drop your hands down to the floor, standing forward bend. Let your head drop, let your mind drop. I always say you can pick it up on your way out. Actually, you're not going, you can pick it up when you're ready to leave your room. Changing my words. Good. Inhale, look forward. Send your left leg back behind you. Drop the knee to the floor. Bring both hands inside. Maybe grow some blocks, up so that you can come on down to your elbows. Maybe you don't need blocks. So both hands are inside your right knee. Keep your back rounded. So really curl the rib cage up to the sky. Keep your back knee dropped. Relax that back knee down. You can always turn the blocks up a notch if it's not enough. And again, if you don't have blocks, you can stay with straight arms. Make sure your knee is not passing your ankle, and maybe even let your knee drop open. Again, long, deep Ujjayi breathing. Try to separate your low belly from your thigh. Go inside. Know how valuable all of you, all parts. Walk your hands back in, lift your back knee and walk to the left. Lift your back knee, walk to the left so you're facing the long side of your mat. Parallel your feet and bow. Forward bends, dark moon. When did we separate ourselves? Come back to nature, the nature of yourself. So even though I'm hanging out a little longer, I still need you to hug those shins in, widen the inner thighs, widen the sit bones. Good, walk back to the front of your mat. Bend your back knee, drop it down to the floor, and straighten the front leg, Ardha Hanumanasana. Bring both blocks inside or your hands inside. Straighten that front leg, and if you can, come down to those elbows again with a straight leg this time. The other idea would be to put a block underneath the hamstring. That might be nice too, and just bow over that right leg. So half Hanuman, half split, back knee on the mat. How do you just pull that right hip back just a little bit more? Great. Bowing Hanuman, leaning forward Hanuman. You can even turn the foot a little bit more out to the right or Let me say that better. You can even take the right leg out a little bit more to the right, as if on a clock, the number 2. There you go. And then both hands inside. That's it, Ruchi. Nice. Beautiful, Janet. Good. Slowly come on back into child's pose. Maybe turn your palms up. I just discovered black rice, you guys. Who's had black rice before? Probably Heidi, right? Oh, yeah? Wow. That was a brand new amazingness for myself. So yummy. Let your hands do something special, either turned up or down, connecting to the earth, the vibration. Nice, Sarah. Good. Come up to downward dog and then walk your feet up to your hands, standing forward bend. Drop into your feet and feel the floor beneath you, supporting you, loving you. Inhale, look forward and send your right leg back behind you. Drop the knee, bring both hands inside. And come down to those elbows, onto blocks. Think of pressing your sit bones still back and wide. Maybe let the knee drop open. Keep back slightly rounded. Great, Andra. Nice, Kristen, Kathy, Allison. Good job, Lisa. Drop the mind. Wander in, investigate, where can you create more freedom? The dark moon, where can I create more freedom in my life? And then that's my intention as the new moon arrives. I promise you, ritual around this is very powerful. And especially because we are moving to some very incredible planet energetics happening in this next week. Breathe deep into your pelvis. Exhale a lot. And then walking yourself back in, lift your back knee and walk to the right until you come to the center of your mat. Parallel your feet and see that you're as evenly planted in your heels and in your toes. Let your exhales get longer. It is interesting, right? How that I always talk about this time of the year being the time of the year that calls you into your inner cave, but generally we do the opposite because of it being holiday time and we are out more. But this year, that's not the same. So take up the invitation from Mother Nature to go into your cave, to your dark cave. She invites us every year and we say, no, thank you. Good. Walk back to the front of your mat, drop your back knee, straighten your front leg. Ardha Hanumanasana. Maybe both blocks or hands are inside. Dig that heel down, draw it back. Make sure your hips are square and then bow any amount. Your hands can even be on blocks. So don't be a martyr here. Find the best place for your hands, whether it's with, that's it. Moving your legs slightly out to the left is a good idea. Nice, Yasmin. Great, Lisa. Yeah, Ruchi. Ruchi, you're in a different room. And Lisa, I love your tree. How beautiful. Press those sit bones back and wide. Make space. Lift that low belly. Relax your jaw and breathe just a little bit deeper. That's all. Breathe just a little bit deeper. Inhale, come on up. And press back to child's pose. And slide down onto your belly. Come into Sphinx pose, up onto those elbows. Take your right forearm and press it so it's parallel to the front of your mat. Take your left hand back to reach for your ankle, thigh stretch. Left hand, left ankle. Don't cross, left, left. Or yeah. And then draw the heel toward the outer hip, not toward the middle of your butt, and press the knee down to the floor. Lift your chest, draw your chest forward. Enjoy your breath. As you release, release slowly as if you're still pulling the shin in. And then switch sides. Chest lifted, navel in. Push down through that forearm to lift up. Even pull your throat back just a little bit. Keep long breathing, I promise. Placing all that prana into your breath bank for later when you need it. Gently release. Separate your feet nice and wide, Sphinx pose. Draw your right arm underneath your left like you're going to thread the needle and roll over onto your right side, but keep your feet wide. Your feet stay wide, your feet stay on the floor, and then you lift your left arm and you draw it back behind you. Now, if your left arm won't touch the floor, maybe just lift your left hip up a little bit more, even though your feet are still connecting to the floor. Don't lose your feet. romancing yourself, having a beautiful, beautiful date with yourself. Inhale, come on up and change to the other side. We stop avoiding our darkness and start loving our darkness as a place to grow and create anew. We learn to find peace with all phases of the moon cycle, the dark, the half moon, the full moon, and everything in between. We freely access the dark plus the light aspects of our existence. We become brave, confront our darkness. It's funny, I know I've said this before, maybe even today, but it is funny, right? How that, what are the places we celebrate? The full moon, the radiant sun. Celebrate the dark. I can read that again. We stop avoiding our darkness and start loving our darkness as a place to grow and create anew. We learn to find peace with all phases of the moon and ourselves, the dark, the half, the full, and everything in between, and freely access the dark plus light aspects of our existence. Come on up onto your belly. Place your hands by your rib cage and come up into cobra. Release all the way back down. Inhale up one more time, cobra. And press back downward facing dog. Walk your feet to your hands, come into squat. If you're not squatting, you can come right down to sit because that's our next place. And then take a seat, bringing the soles of your feet together. You may sit on a blanket if that's better to tilt your pelvis. And then lean forward any amount, feet together, Baddha Konasana. Make sure your baby toes stay anchored to the floor. I remember when I was in India, I went into the Vashista cave. It's the name of the sage that is our Vashistasana named after. His hermitage was this tiny little place where there was a cave that he did all of his practices, slept. And his whole agenda was to bring peace into the world. And you knew that it worked because it was truly the only place in India where the monkeys were nice. Or at least in places I went, right? That you weren't afraid of the monkeys jumping on you. And the cave you would crawl into, and there would be one candle lit in the darkness. And the energy was so powerful. Imagine that's where we do our work, is in the cave. And we do this profound work of bringing peace into the world in the cave. And maybe don't imagine it, maybe do it. Cave of your heart. Inhale, navel in, come on up, stretch your legs wide. And again, any proppage that you like. So here might be your dog bolster. Here might be some kind of a prop or not. But if you have one, use it. Yeah, Lori, that's nice. Use the wall. That's beautiful. So Lori turns toward the wall and she has her hands on the wall as she comes into this. That's a great, great, great idea. So legs nice and wide, come forward any amount. You can bend the knees if that's better for your back or your hamstrings. Dark can also be known as the unknown, but it's also potential, the unknown potential. The possibilities that I haven't even thought of yet. I haven't even thought or imagined. That's cool, you guys. The places I haven't even imagined. Walk your upper body over to the right side, bow over your right leg. Keep breathing. If you want to, feel free to lift your left arm up and take a side stretch. And then walk yourself over to your left leg and bow first. Take the sit bones back and wide. Kristen. And maybe take that side stretch there. And come on up. Good, squeeze those legs back together. Draw your right knee in. Let your right knee fall out to the right, Janu Shirshasana, twist to the left. And then bow deeply over that extended leg. Keep twisting your body, twisting, twisting, twisting. We were talking on Thursday about Hanukkah and the season of lighting a candle and to really gaze at that candle and see what the fire is teaching you. Why it is we have our reasons why we light a candle every night, right? But can you allow that flame to be your teacher, to share wisdom? What is it that this flame is actually doing, supporting, and loving? Relax your jaw, round your back, press your sit bones back, navel in, come on up. Change legs when you're ready. Something very appealing about forward bends, right? They draw us deeply in. And make sure that you take out some of the places that are just really tricky. So that's great, Kristen. Like find where you can come into your form of that forward fold. And maybe you're not folding very far forward, but your eyes are closed and you're breathing deep. Beautiful. Slowly bring yourself back up. Now I'm going to bring you into pigeon, but those of you who do pigeon on your back, you can return to that, and or you can just bring the soles of your feet together into Baddha Konasana again. Otherwise, roll onto your hands and knees, slide your right knee forward for pigeon, your left leg back. So your options are pigeon or pigeon on your back or feet together, knees wide. Keep listening to your inner sound, to your inner nadam. Allow yourself to move from the senses, sight, sound, taste, smell, into the inner cave, inner sanctuary. And to change sides, coming into pigeon on the second side. If there is something you would love to manifest, play with it, explore it, especially if it's something that you've always thought was out of your reach or impossible. Many of us have done the remarkable in this last year. We've done things that we never thought we were capable of. It's brought us to a completely new level. Good. And then come on up, slide both legs out in front of you. Just take a minute in silent meditation. Maybe have your thumb and first finger come to touch. Wisdom mudra, jnana mudra. Let's close your eyes. Notice those boogeymen, boogie women. What if they're there to help you? What if they have that golden nectar that you've been looking for, the answer to something that you've been very, very curious about? What if they hold that, those places that are dark and scare you? You can stay here or lie down on your back for Shavasana. Very gently begin to deepen your breath. Let your body stretch and twist and do anything that feels really good to you. If you're lying down, hug your knees into your chest, roll to the right side, come on up. Welcome back. Bring your hands together at your heart center. May we together continue to dive into the unknown, to have faith in the unknown, the darkness. May we together grow in that dark, fertile place. May we grow love in a big, big way together. Inhale for the sound of Om. Om. Slide your hands to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste, everybody.
Namaste.
Thank you so much. I hope you have a beautiful day. Make it
Totally
great.
send out.
Send out. Have a great day, everybody. I love you.
Thanks, Sheryl.